biogeochemical cycle. Biogeochemical cycle. Chemicals, anything which is made up of chemicals. Geo related to Earth's surface, and biological, that means anything which could be a living organism. A constant interaction between biotic and abiotic components of the biosphere make a dynamic but stable system. This interaction consists of transfer of matter and energy between different components of biosphere. Let us look at the sub-process involved in maintenance of the above balance. First one is the water cycle. You have seen that water evaporates from the water bodies and subsequent condensation of water vapor leads to rain. But we don't see that the seas and oceans drying up. So, how is the water returning to these water bodies? The whole process in which water evaporates and falls on the land as rain and later flows back into the sea via river is known as water cycle. This cycle is not as straightforward and simple as the statement seems to imply. All the water that falls on land does not immediately flow back into the sea. Some of it slips into soil and becomes part of underground water or reservoir of fresh water. Some of this underground water finds its way to the surface through spring, or we bring it to the surface for our use through wells and tube wells. Water is also used by terrestrial animals and plants of various life processes. Let us look at another aspect of water. What happens to water during water cycle? As you know, water is capable of dissolving in large number of substances as water flows through or over rocks containing soluble minerals. Some of them get dissolved into water. Thus, river carries many nutrients from the land to the sea, and these are used by marine organisms. So, this is how the flow chart of water is shown over here. What happens in the presence of sunlight? Water bodies are getting heated up due to evaporation that take place. Also, by the process of respiration, like animal which urinates and excretes something from its body, that water is also going to get into the evaporation, going to get evaporated, and these evaporation may cause the formation of cloud. Okay, other thing which is called respiration. Any animal, including human, we respire. That means we breathe in and breathe out. Due to respiration, also certain kind of gas molecules are exerted into air. Transpiration, which in the presence of sunlight, the transpiration which is possible in the plants. So, due to transpiration, certain amount of water is also going into the atmosphere, which contributes into forming a cloud. The cloud water is then going to come back to the earth's surface by rain or tsunami, and the surface of earth which is not even. Okay, so at certain place water is going to get accumulated. This accumulated water is then somehow could be go inside the surface of earth, which again can be used by humans or animals just by digging hole into the earth. Let's just say by wells or tube wells, we can utilize this underground water which is contamination free. Once this dams and all are This water goes in this way and mixes into the sea, and along with it, water soluble minerals are going to transport into this sea area, and these minerals will be used by the sea creatures, and this cycle is again going to get repeated. Once again the surface is going to getting heated up, evaporation will take place, cloud bank will fall, again rain or snow would come, and this process would be continue to be happening. So that is why the total amount of water concentration on the surface of Earth remains unchanged. Nitrogen gas makes up to 78% of our atmosphere, and nitrogen is also a part of many molecules essential to the life like proteins, nucleic acid, deoxyribonucleic acid, ribonucleic acid, which is called DNA, and RNA, which you have studied in chapter 5, and some vitamins. Nitrogen is also found in other biological important compounds such as alkaloids and urea too. Nitrogen is thus an essential nutrient for all life forms. Life would be simple if all these life forms could use the atmospheric nitrogen directly. However, other than few forms of bacteria, life forms are not able to convert it comparatively inert nitrogen molecule into forms like nitrate and nitrites, which can be taken up and used to make required molecule. This nitrogen fixing bacteria may be free living or be associated with some species of dicot plant. Dicot plant એટલે એવું કોઈ પણ plant, for example cashew nut નું જે seed છે, cashew nut જે છે, or ground nut છે, એને તમે કટ કરો તો એની અંદર બે પાર્ટની અંદર ડિવાઈડ થાય અને વચ્ચે એનું seed આ plants ને dicot કહે. Most commonly, the nitrogen fixing bacteria are found in roots of legumes, generally plant, which gives us pulses. In special structures called root nodules. Other than this bacteria, the only other manner in which nitrogen molecules converted to nitrite and nitrates by is physical processes. During the lightning, the high temperature and pressure creates in the air converted nitrogen into oxides of nitrogen. These oxides dissolve into water, gives nitric or nitrous acid, and fall on land along with the rain. These are utilized by various life forms. What happens to the nitrogen once it is converted into forms that can be taken and used to make nitrogen containing molecules? Plants generally take up nitrate and nitrites and convert them into amino acid, which are used to make protein. Some other biological pathways are used to make other complex compounds containing nitrogen. These proteins and other complex compounds are subsequently consumed by animals. Once animals and plant dies, other bacteria in the soil converts various compounds of nitrogen back into nitrates or nitrites. Different type of bacteria converts nitrites into elemental nitrogen. Thus, there is a nitrogen cycle in nature in which nitrogen passes from its elemental form in the atmosphere into simple molecule in the soil and water, which gets converted to more complex molecule in living beings, back again to the simple nitrogen molecule in atmosphere. Okay, so this is a chain which is complexly explained over here. Let's just start over here. Nitrogen in the atmosphere. There is only so there is let's just say first one is by the bacteria which is present at the root of the plant, which gives us pulses. So what happens? This bacteria converts this nitrogen into required proteins or nitrates. Okay, so this happens in the plant, where in protoplasm. So these nitrogen fixation is in the atmosphere is taken by this bacteria and converted into protoplasm in plant. This plant is then consumed by the animals. So in the protoplasm form, it is going to deliver to the animals. At the end of this process, it could be plant or animal, these two nitrogen is then going to convert it into ammonia. Okay. Ammonia is then going to convert it into nitrites or nitrates, which are then going to convert it into nitrogen. So we started from nitrogen, we again reached to the nitrogen. Once again, nitrogen from the atmosphere is used by nitrification and the atmospheric and industrial fixation. So nitrogen is converted into respective nitrates, and nitrates are then going to convert it into nitrogen. Yes, so this whole cycle is going to repeat it by itself, and we will have a constant amount of nitrogen, which is in 78% in the surface of Earth. So, okay, that's all.